started accommodating the fact that we had another vocalist, which is Cyril, and it threw a little bit more on more responsibility on Art too to sing. So I actually started writing a lot of stuff that included vocals and lead vocal songs like what you mentioned, Out in the Country, Ain't No Use, Africa, People Say.
People Say, yeah, great song, all great songs. No doubt, yeah.
So I started writing things like that because I had to, and because since I was the premier writer for the band, this kind of responsibility kind of laid on me. And for that particular album, we did our first one you did was I think Cabbage Alley album. Yeah, that included some songs, but the real thing where I think Cyril came into prominence was an album called Rejuvenation.
Yeah,
which was one of my favorite. I mean, I sweat, man. I sweated, stood up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning writing songs for that, like Just Kiss My Baby. And
Just Kiss My Baby, that's a really great song.
Yeah, and things like It Ain't No Use. And I must commend, even though I was more musically educated, scholastically, than anybody else, Zigaboo was one of the most prolific and clever lyricists that I know. Of course, I would come up with the riffs and the music and the chord progressions and stuff like that with like Just Kiss My Baby, but Zig was the one that really wrote most of the lyrics for those songs. So it was a combination between he and I. But yeah, it incorporated more. It had served as well that we had to write stuff that had more vocals in it, in the song. So yeah, quite naturally we would write songs with vocals for Cyril and Art.
Absolutely. And those songs, yeah, again, are anthems of New Orleans music that endure to this day. The song I remember as a kid, it's odd that this is the meter song that I remember most from those days when I was growing up, was They All Ask For You. It's kind of a bit of a novelty song. For those who don't know, it's a song basically about the Audubon Zoo in New Orleans. The monkey asked, what is it, the monkey,
It ain't really about that zoo.
Well, tell me about it. Tell me about that song.
Because the city of New Orleans and double entendre lyrics is, like that's part of the thing, and that's what that song was about. And me and Z and anyway, we were at his house. His father was a mason. His father had a party in the yard. There was a band playing. The band kicked off that song. We wound up late for our gig because we stayed to when we first started hearing it. It was so the funniest shit I ever heard in my life. I literally had to go home and change clothes because I fell out on the ground, rolling on the ground, laughing at the shit. And come to find out later on that was actually Danny Barker. That was Danny Barker's band that was playing that Zeke's dance party and thing.
Danny Barker, great New Orleans jazz banjo player and guitarist. He played with Cab Calloway and a bunch of people back in the day, and then did a whole bunch of things. But okay.
And people would later answer, but that song they all asked for you.
Asked.
And no, there didn't want no K nowhere in there.
They all asked.
They all asked for you.
Okay.
The monkey's ass, the baboon's ass, and the elephant asked me too.
And that song wound up on the record because we had to did most of it. We had to wrote 2 or 3 songs in the studio, and then we had time enough for one more song, and that song came up.
It was a joke thing that we would do on gigs, the meters, and it kind of featured Zig, and he would come up with those things, and it was like a novelty thing where people would get people to laugh.
Right.
And we went in and said, well, let's go ahead and record that, So we went and recorded, instead of saying ass, the monkey's ass and the baboon's ass, we said ask.
Asked. Yes,
And
so
that
King
song,
got it.
yeah, that song came out, man, and was a big hit.
I mean,
If
you
you
know,
listen to it, you're going to hear applause at the end of it.
uh-huh.
And that was everybody applauding because that was the end of the session.
Okay, all right, that's awesome. So the and then we're gonna get to the Wild Chopper Tools. We're coming up on that one. The Fire on the Bayou record, to me, one of the great New Orleans albums, for sure. In a nutshell, kind of what was going on with the band at the time, and what do you guys remember overall about the making of that particular record, about the Fire on the Bayou record?
Well, it was. I think it was the second album.
Mm-hmm.
We were contracted to do 5 albums.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, 5 albums with Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was the second album. And it was the same process in terms of writing and coming up with songs and coming up with songs for Cyril to do. You know, and a lot of weight. All of the vocals weight was on Art and Cyril. I sung a few things, but it was like nothing. But and I think it kind of developed into that. Art had a riff he would do, and just playing in different songs. And he started playing this riff, dum 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 dum, and that was the basis of Fire on the Bayou. And a lot of people don't know what those lyrics are, but Cyril, you know, the lyrics, people wouldn't comprehend, they wouldn't imagine what these lyrics was about. There was a guy by the name of Lucky.
Uh-huh.
That was, I think he was married to Athelgra, which is his sister, your brother-in-law. And he had a club called Lucky's Den. Lucky's Den.
Actually, the name of it was the Lion's Den.
Lion's Den.
Since he was the proprietor, they called it Lucky's Den.
Lucky's Den. And in the beginning of the song, Art is singing, down in New Orleans, in Lucky's Den, he wouldn't deal with a fifth of gin. One dude wanted a bottle of wine. He hit that dude for $1 and a dime. Light your fire on the bayou. But and if you hear it, you would never figure out that's what it was about.
Right.
You know, it was about that place.
You guys are writing about what you knew. You're writing about.
That's it.
You're
Yeah.
writing about your
Yeah.
friends, your scenes in New Orleans, etc. So
That whole thing about the fire on the bayou, a lot of the clubs back in the day, we was talking about that the other day, the dressing rooms was way in the back, so when you come out the dressing room, you had to walk through the audience to get to the stage. Z came up with the idea that we could get cowbells and tamarines and second line. We from New Orleans. Second line. Clanging and singing Fire on the Bayou. And that's how that was born.
Yeah, rather than having a procession, that was a great idea that he came up with too. So we started second line into the stage.
yeah, and that set the tone right there for the gig. That got everybody up and excited right from the get-go.
We did it with the Stones tour too. When we would go on this big stage, we did that.
Y'all come through the crowd?
Not the crowd, but
Up on the stage.
we
Come on
adapted
stage,
from the
line.
dressing room. We figured that was a good way to come on the stage. In any case.
Very cool. What did Mick and Keith think about you guys doing the second line? What did Mick Jagger and Keith Richards think?
They
about
joined that.
it? As they should have.
I want to say something about that, and I want to say something about this. It's a lot of pressure opening up for a group of the magnitude of the Rolling Stones. I mean, immense pressure. You got people in these foreign places sleeping on the sidewalk for days, like 3-4 blocks long, because of the open seating. They had an open seating. That means that whoever gets in the door first gets closer to the stage. So if you're a big fan, you would sleep on the sidewalk for days to get in that auditorium or whatever it was. So here it is, these people doing this, and all of a sudden, the guy introduced, ladies and gentlemen, them opening up the meters.
And everyone's like, who? What?
What? You know, and I'm like, you know, and we all enthusiastic, but the people that, you know, they didn't want to see the meters after doing all of that. They want to see Mick, they want to see the Rolling Stones. So in actuality, we had to actually duck cans and bottles and whatever, like, just to play.
Wow.
One of the times, it got so bad where I don't know where it was, might have been in Germany somewhere, where Mick had to come out on the stage, you know, before their show and said, listen, y'all be cool. Y'all let these guys play. Y'all leave them alone, let them play. We got them here for you guys, y'all let them play. He had to come out and stop them.
Wow.
Good for Mick.
From throwing bricks at us.
Yeah, good for Mick. Very good.
They were actually taking beer cans and squashing them and then frisbeeing them suckers up to the stage.
Yeah.
Seriously, one of them stuck in Zig's bass drum.
Oh my gosh.
So if one of them would have hit one of us or whatever, you know, yeah, it was like
Might
that.
not be here.
Yeah, it wouldn't be 130 stitches if it hit you. I mean, but it'd have been a couple. It'd have been a couple. Yeah,
But it
yeah.
was like, my point is, a lot of pressure. And once we started playing, once they started accepting us, it was cool, it was clear sailing after that. We got ovations and encores.
Well, yeah, because y'all were badasses. I mean, so once you actually played, they're like, oh yeah, these guys
And
are great.
Mick Jagger came out and cursed them and told me, see, y'all want to see the Stones? Yeah, so these are my friends. Sit y'all ass down and listen to them if you want to see the